Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vishvad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Stanasasi Samad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON's founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. Grantaraj Shri Brihad Bhagavatamrita Ki. Shri Radha Radhanath Ki. Shri Giri Govardhan Ki. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki. Go Premanande. All glories to their Samo devotees. All glories to their Samo devotees. All glories to their Samo devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nama Om Vishnupada Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarne Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivas Adi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita ki jai, Srila Sanatana Goswami ki jai. Go Premanande. So devotees, there we were, just across the river, across the Yamuna, from Keshigat. And somehow our Brahmin friend ended up over there. And when he was over there, he heard a sound. He couldn't really understand what it was. He got closer, and he could hear it's a devotee in some sort of very extraordinary ecstasy. So he followed the sound and he found a young cowherd boy. Yes, so The Brahmin went and offered his obeisances to the cowherd boy. Cowherd boy understood, he's been sent to me by Srimati Radharani. I must help him. Cowherd boy is actually Gopakumar, the famous Gopakumar, who is a perfected soul who is descended from the kingdom of God. From Goloka Vrindavan specifically, sent by Radharani and Krishna to find and help suitably qualified devotees, or not even exactly that. I mean, you could say like that, but more like devotees who have the potential for going back to Godhead. And when Gopakumar looks at the Brahmin, by the mercy of the Lord, by the mercy of Srimati Radharani, he has such insight just on the spot to evaluate the Brahmin, and he understands, this is the one. I must help him, and I can help him to go back to Godhead, and he can go back to Godhead. So we're continuing from verse 102. Sri Parikshit said, respectfully, having heard the Brahmin's words, the young cowherd thought, this person has done everything he needs to do. Indeed, his life is a complete success. On the spot, he can understand these types of things. He has some type of transcendental vision by the mercy of Srimati Radharani. Yes. So from now the next few verses, Gopakumar is thinking about this person and how I can help him, and how he's so close. He's there, basically. He's practically there. All that remains for him to achieve is to see directly the lotus feet of the Lord. He needs to become attached, not so much to the solitary chanting of the Lord's mantra, but to the Sankirtan of his names. So the Brahmin, of course, he's come to this point on the basis of silently chanting his mantra. This Madan Gopal mantra, 10-syllable mantra. But now Gopakumar can see next step is to get into the Sankirtan, the chanting of the holy names, and not just some particular mantra. And of course, for everyone, there is a next step. We may not understand what the next step is, how to understand. Well, either by the mercy of a devotee, as in this case here, by the mercy of Gopakumar, the Brahmin is about to get that enlightenment he needs for his next step. Otherwise, we have to pray to the Lord for some revelation, some help to go deeper. And oftentimes it's like that. So verses 104 and 105. Certainly no means of perfection is superior to the worship of Sriman Madan Gopal's lotus feet. That worship yields results far beyond what one could expect. It should be performed mainly through Nam Sankirtan, along with reverence and affection for the many places of Sri Gopal's pastimes, places one should regularly visit. Shall we go and visit them? let's go. Let's go to Govardhan Hill. Yeah, let's go. Hey, what about the COVID? Sure. But yeah, really, I mean, it's definitely like that. It's definitely like that. Yes. Okay. Okay, sorry. All right, yes. So he's agreeing. This worship of Madan Gopal, which the Brahman's doing with his chanting of his particular 10-syllable mantra, that's just fine. But it should be performed through Nam Sankirtan. That's the next step. And visiting the places. 106. There is no other final goal than that in which pure love of God appears, mocking the 4 lesser aims of life and bringing the Lord's lotus feet under one's control. Yes. So there's no other real final goal in life other than the development of Krishna Prema, Prema Pumarto Mahan, and it's so much better than Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, these materialistic processes. And it has the special characteristic. It brings the Lord under your control. Under your control. That's pretty high. 107. So now the thing is, this is Gopakumar considering the situation with the Brahman, and he's about to consider that. He's thinking, how to help this man, to give him inspiration to go forward into that next step and on to the perfection. And he now comes to a conclusion, very important conclusion, what to do. Verse 107, to bring him to this realization, first, I must tell him my own history in full. That will clear away all his doubts. So that's what this whole second part of the book is about. It's Gopakumar telling his story in order to enlighten and help the Brahman in the most effective way. Well, that's in that case, I wouldn't want to tell you my story. It depends, My story, I'm sure, would confuse you. So this is the way he feels in this case, to really get through to the Brahman and to bring him to the point of understanding, yes, this is what I must do, this is what I must do. In these ways I can progress. Describing one's own glories is disapproved by spiritual authorities, but nothing else I could tell will bring about his good fortune. So Gopakumar's feeling it's an unusual situation to get into oneself, sort of advertise, not even advertise oneself, but just focus on oneself, is generally not good. But in this case, Gopakumar feels it's the best thing, it's the only thing for helping this man. There's a saying, Swa prashamsa dhruvo mrityu. Self-praise is as good as death. Yeah. And of course, Gopakumar has already used his God-given mystic power, if you remember, he's told the Brahmin about himself, about the Brahmin, where you're from, what you're doing. And so you can imagine the Brahmin's just like, wow, who is this amazing person? So Gopakumar feels he will listen. And he'll really listen because he takes me so seriously. Yeah. And in this way, Radharani's order will be quickly carried out. Her order to Gopakumar, deliver this man, bring him back to Goloka Vrindavan. It would ordinarily have been a breach of etiquette, but in this case it's okay. So, okay, verse 109. Thus the saintly son of the cowherds made up his mind. He asked the Brahmin for his attention and began to speak about his own life, just as a sage versed in the Puranas would speak an epic. Gosh, amazing. Sri Gopakumar said, there are many historical accounts relevant to this topic, but I am going to tell you my own story, including recollections of what occurred at times when I was bewildered by ecstasy and other distractions. Yes. 111. I am a son of a Vaishya of Govardhan, who made his living as a cowherd. As a young boy of that community, I used to tend my own cows. O best of learned Brahmins, I stayed in the company of other boys there at Govardhan, here in Vrindavan, on the banks of the Yamuna, and at various other places in the district of Mathura. So yeah, he's beginning his story. Actually, his story, it goes on till the end of the 6th chapter. And the 7th chapter, last chapter, is sort of a summary and quoting different verses to substantiate things and so on like that. Yes, so he was from a nice cow-herding family from Govardhan, and he would wander around herding the cows. In the forest, we regularly saw a certain first-class Brahmin wandering from place to place. He was very renounced, and his body appeared like that of a god. So now here's another character. This person. Anyway, let's just read on and see how this Brahmin just introduced here, what part he plays, because he plays a part. He was always chanting the glories of Krishna. Sometimes he sang and sometimes danced. Sometimes, absorbed in meditation, he chanted his mantra to himself. And sometimes he gave himself to laughter. 115. Sometimes he shouted or loudly sobbed, or stumbled and fell to the ground, or rolled about on the ground like a madman. 116. Sometimes he fell unconscious and lay still like a corpse, the flood of his mucus, saliva, and tears, turning the dust on the cow path into mud. Out of curiosity, we cowherd boys would often come and look at him. But when he saw us in front of him, he would bow down to us with devotion. This Brahmin is some amazing advanced devotee. But when he was sort of in external consciousness sufficiently, and he'd see Gopakumar and the other cowherd boys, he'd offer obeisances to them. 118. He would heartily embrace us and affectionately cover us with kisses, as if we were his best friends. He was unable to give up our company. He was pleased with my services, like giving gifts of milk products. One day, meeting me on the shore of the Yamuna, he embraced me and spoke in this way. Verse 120. My dear child, if you want to fulfill all your desires, please bathe at Keshi Ghat, and then accept from me this mercy of the Lord of the universe. So, this Brahmin devotee, incredibly advanced, he speaks of mercy, this mercy, like it's an object, like it's a thing, tangible thing he carries around. And so he told Gopakumar, just take it from me, as if literally just putting it in his hand. There's some mercy. Thus, after I bathed, he imparted to me the same mantra you are chanting. Although he was fully satisfied in himself and indifferent to material things, he was the crest jewel of all compassionate souls. So, yes, so things are sort of tying together bit by bit. So, yeah. So Gopakumar got initiated into that same mantra, which the Brahmin we've been following in for the days before this, that same mantra. He was about to explain the method of worshipping with the mantra, but as soon as he mentioned the object of meditation, he was overcome by pure love of God. He became confused and started crying like a woman separated from her lover. So, as soon as he mentioned Gopal, he became distracted from this exchange with Gopakumar and the act of giving him the mantra and helping him get into the mantra. He thought of the mantra and he gave the mantra, and then, oh, Gopal, and off his consciousness went. Like a woman separated from her lover. When he regained normal consciousness, I was afraid to ask him anything. He stood up and went away distressed. And after that, he was nowhere to be found. This is such a story. It's amazing. So Gopakumar is afraid to ask him anything. He sees all these manifestations of ecstasy he's never had he's never witnessed before, and he's worried, maybe I've committed some offense, or maybe if I say anything I will commit an offense. And Prabhupada explained it, and he showed me, this is how he showed me how to count. He said, you count to 10 like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, now you do it. So now I had to do it. Fortunately, I got it right. Phew. As I was starting, okay, 1, I was thinking, am I going to be able to do this? But I got it right. Oh, it's back now, yeah? So, yeah, but, if he had not given that instruction, I wouldn't have known what to do, how to do it. I could chant the mantras, but how to do it properly. So it's interesting. Gopakumar is in that situation. It's just one mantra, of course, but he doesn't know what to do with it. So what now? Yes. Okay? All right. So next verse is 124. I had no idea what this mantra was that I'd received, what fruit its chanting would bear, or even how the mantra was to be practiced. time and this way and all of that. But he had told him that this is, I'm going to give you the mercy of the Lord of the universe. So Gopakumar understood this mantra is forgetting the mercy of the Lord of the universe. I became eager to know who this Lord of the universe was, and when I might be able to see him. With this as my only aspiration, I abandoned my home and other attachments and went to the bank of the Ganga. The Ganga. Because he's in Vrindavan, he's across the Yamuna from Keshi Tirtha. So now he's wandering around again. And he's on the banks of the Ganga, hearing the distant sound of a conch shell be... Oh, well, no, wait a minute, sorry. He's from Govardhan. So he left Vrindavan, he left Govardhan, left his home and everything else, and went traveling to the Ganges, which from Vrindavan, you're looking at 300 to 400 kilometers to the north. Hearing the distant sound of a conch shell being blown, I followed that sound to its origin on a sandy bank of the river. There I saw a learned Brahmin worshipping a shalagram Shila, and I bowed down. I asked him, "Master, what are you worshipping?" Laughing, he replied, "Dear boy, don't you know that this is the Lord of the universe?" 131. Hearing this, I felt unlimited happiness, like a poor man finding a welcome treasure, or a family man reuniting with a long-lost relative. Because as far as he's concerned, according to the Brahmin, his guru who's given him the mantra, this is, I'm going to give you the mercy of the Lord of the universe. So here he feels now, I found that Lord of the universe. I gazed for a long time at the Lord of the universe, and with faith bowed down to him, my whole body flat on the ground like a rod. By the Brahmin's mercy, I received some water that had washed the Lord's feet, and some remnants of offerings to him, some prasad distribution. Then the Brahmin, preparing to return home, lay the Lord of the universe to rest in a box. Pained to see this, I tearfully complained in this way, "My God, you're putting the Supreme Lord into a box, such an unfit place, and he hasn't even eaten. How will he sleep if he's hungry?" Whew. Amazing consciousness. O excellent Brahmin from Mathura, Gopakumar, now he's speaking again to the Brahmin from the beginning of the book. O excellent Brahmin from Mathura, because of my material condition, I was unaware that the Lord of the universe is different from everyone and everything in this world. In other words, you don't need to worry if he's too hungry to sleep. Yeah, he'll be all right. As I complained and suffered in my uncontrived lamentation, the Brahmin tried to console me. Full of humility, he shyly spoke. 137. O new Vaishnav, he said, what more can this poor man do? I can offer to the Lord of the universe only the meals I prepare for myself. Okay. This is verse 139. If you are eager to see the Lord's opulence and a great festival of his worship, please go to the capital city of this country's very saintly ruler. He is attached to the worship of Lord Vishnu in great love. You will find his city not far away, and there you can behold the Lord of the universe, who is so difficult to see. Okay, one more verse. Yeah. You will feel great ecstasy, fulfilling all your heart's desires. But for now, please come have lunch in my house from the remnants of what has been offered to Lord Vishnu. Hare Krishna. So from here, next verse, Gopakumar is going to go to the palace of the king and see the Lord there. So next will be, verse 141. Hare Krishna, devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Brihad Bhagavatamrita ki jai. Srila Sanatana Goswami ki jai. Gaur Premanande. So, how are you finding it? Is it okay? Okay. So we'll carry on. Are we meant to carry on tomorrow night? What's our program?
Monday.
On Monday. I see. All right. What do I do tomorrow? Otpusk. You know what otpusk means? It's Russian. It means holiday. Otpusk. I'm going to have a holiday. Because I tell you, anyway, okay. Thank you for your kind attention. What's the program tomorrow? Evening? Is there a program?
Yes, Raghunath Bhattacharya.
Ah, okay. Over there.
Yes.
At what time? 5:30?
Same time, 5.
Okay.